What's up guys, Haze here. Focus have just dropped a massive look at the Techmarine with another random community update. In this post we're going to look at the class ability, the Tarantula Sentry use, GUNSTRIKE mechanic, the Omnissiah axe, how that plays, and we get to see the class perk values and the prestige perks. There's a whole bunch of content in this post. Now I'm not going to waste any time reading out the post details, so let's just get into the meat of it. Now first up we get a look at how the actual servo arm works itself. Now I don't know about you guys, but I think that's pretty awesome. It's one-shotting Minoris, which is interesting to know. Maybe it auto headshots, or maybe the base damage is very high. Think charged plasma pistol level high. Obviously this is going to be extremely customizable, as you'll see later in the perk tree, as you're going to be able to change the ammo type, its target priority, and even switch it to burn damage. Next up then we've got the Tarantula Sentry GUN. So there's a few things that we can take from this. One, it absolutely rips through Minoris, which can be pretty useful. Two, it kills Majoris without them even entering execute phase, which would indicate it's doing pretty high damage. And three, the enemies seem to lock onto it once they get close enough. So it might have huge value if you stand in front of it and defend it, like people have been talking about, whilst it just dackers through you, everything in sight. It kind of reminds me of the heavy bot in Siege a little bit. Next up, they clarify what selection of weapons we're going to get. I think most of these options were common knowledge, with the only new addition with patch 12.0 being the Omnissiah axe itself. But luckily for us, we get to see exactly how it works. Now, there's a few interesting things to point out in this video. The first notable thing is at the end of this first combo that the Techmarine does, it's actually a charged attack that you lift out of the floor right now. The second thing is it looks like there's two types of charged attack. You've got this whirlwind type knockback move, and then you've got the Techmarine goes into this sprinting jousting type stance where he just points it at the enemy and YOLOs it. And then of course, my favorite part here, we've got the servo arm executes. Let's go. The next part's pretty awesome as it shows exactly how the GUNSTRIKE mechanic works, whilst you just carry on swinging away and the servo arm just pings enemies in the distance. I think this mechanic's going to be the most broken thing ever. I cannot wait to get stuck into it. You can see the Omnissiah axe itself has a lot of knockback moves, so farming armor passively off Minoris is going to be extremely strong. Very, very excited about this. And to round it all off, we get a better look at the AoE combat right at the end. Back into the jousting. I think he charges his final attack here. It's going to be interesting to see how much damage that actually does and how much you can modify it with the perks we're about to look at. So as I just mentioned, for the perks in this, most interesting part of the video for me, we finally get to see the values for each perk, and we also get to see the prestige perks. Now, I'm not going to pause this on every perk as we'll be here forever, and you can always pause it yourself if you want to read them exactly, but you'll notice a pretty common theme across the Techmarine, and that is that different types of damage buff each other. You've got equipment damage increasing range damage, you've got sentry increasing damage done, servo arm causing damage vulnerability, servo arm increasing melee damage, equipment damage causing vulnerability, and finishes increasing melee, as well as range increasing damage. And the perk I'm most interested by right at the end is the servo arm is applying burn to enemies. I think this perk may be one of the most insane things in the whole tree and scale the strongest. Then we get a glorious glimpse at the prestige perks. Now I will pause for this just so I can talk a little bit. It's interesting, a lot of these perks are just the same as other classes with a different name. Obviously you've got things like chained headshot, which is basically tac security, but defensive stance, which is just scramble targeting that I believe the bulwark, assault, and heavy have. You've got blast radius, which is the same as the sniper perk, and stim boost, which is the same as the tac perk. And then you've got the three unique interesting ones. Firstly, we've got revive surge. I don't think this is very good, as just a 15% boost after a revive isn't going to happen all the time, and it's a bit of a weak buff to have after an event that's rarely going to happen, in my opinion. Next up, we've got Volatile Sentry. This one's quite interesting. Sentry turret explosion damage has increased by 40%. This is going to depend entirely how much base damage the explosion has, as well as how easy it is to get bigger enemies onto the turret before it goes boom. But this could end up being a really big talent. We'll just have to test it a lot. And then finally, you've got Furious Gun Strikes. This is similar to the Sniper's Gun Strike equals more range damage, just with melee. And considering how you can farm gun strikes whilst meleeing, this may have an incredibly cool synergy, especially with things like balance weapons where you can still get parries for gun strikes, but you also have a higher base damage on your melee. In my opinion, overall for the perk tree, this is exactly how Vanguard should have been built. We now know as a class Techmarine has no ammo regen, but it does have amazing overlapping synergies between its ranged, melee, equip, and ability damage. All this to say, we're reaching absolute peak levels of hype for this class release. The ability looks nicely polished, the gunstrike mechanic is super interesting and refreshing, and the Sentry's going to need a lot of testing, but it may open up some new playstyles. And of course, for all of you that know me and my content well, I'm going to be testing the Techmarine's application to Siege rigorously. I'm going to find out exactly how it can fit into the Assault and TAC combo to buff its damage and nuke out bosses. We may be peeking over that wave 50 soon. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed the update. Let me know in the comments below what you're interested to see, what you want to test, and just how excited you are. I'll catch you guys in the next.